Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video is to look at the opposite to narcissism, what some people would say is a spectrum where on one side you have narcissism and on the other side you have echoism, which people can develop symptoms of echoism either from being raised by a narcissistic parent or being around narcissistic people, or being raised by a parent who trains children to be highly sensitive to the needs of others, to not be too big-headed, often leading these children into relationships with narcissistic people where their signs of echoism can get worse over time. The term is coined from Dr. Craig Malcolm, who is a clinical psychologist and the author of the book Revisiting Narcissism. Although the actual term comes from the Greek myth of Narcissus, who was cursed into loving his own reflection, and Echo, who was cursed into repeating the last word that somebody else said. And when Narcissus walked into a forest, I believe it was, don't quote me on that, he shouted, "Anybody here?" and Echo replied with "here," because it's the last word that she heard. So in one sense, Echo is cursed into repeating the last words that she hears from others. When it comes to modern day society and people around narcissistic people, those around narcissistic people are often trained into echoing the needs and the feelings of the narcissist. So they echo what the narcissist requires and give the narcissist what the narcissist needs. They are very in tuned into the narcissist's feelings and go all out to try and help the narcissist feel better about themselves. They can end up echoing the narcissist's behaviour and then often internalizing and blaming themselves, believing they themselves are a narcissist. And to avoid being on the narcissistic side of the spectrum, the echoism comes out more to try and protect themselves from becoming a narcissist. Narcissistic mirroring is a thing that most people do unconsciously to create a bond with other people. Mirroring is something that a narcissist does in a more underhand way to reflect back to somebody what they would like to see, what they would like to hear, what they would like out of their life. And the echoism side, people then pick up on that from the narcissistic person, believing the narcissist is wanting the same as the echoist. Only the echoist isn't realizing how the narcissist is manipulating the echoist, which is why it can become very confusing as to who is who, and why more often than not a narcissistic person will not see themselves as the problem and the echoist will be questioning and doubting and blaming and shaming themselves. Around narcissistic people, the echoist will often develop no voice of their own. When around narcissistic people, we can often turn into our fight or flight mode, which is a term coined by Walter Cannon and has been developed over the years into things such as freeze or fawn. And when around narcissistic people, we often find ourselves fawning to the narcissist's behaviour in order to protect ourselves from their behaviour, learning to walk on eggshells around them in order to not set them off, in order to not rock the boat, in order to not upset them, in order to not receive any form of consequences from them. People with echoism can have been raised by a narcissistic parent and therefore find it easier to fall into relationships with narcissistic people, or they can have fallen unwittingly into a relationship with a narcissistic person and then develop symptoms of echoism. People with echoism tend to be on the opposite end of the spectrum to people with narcissism, so they have high traits of agreeableness, high traits of kindness, high traits of giving, high traits of caring, high traits of sensitivity, especially to the needs of others and rarely to the needs of their own. High sensitivity to the feelings, the needs, the wants of others. A willingness, a kindness, a generosity to help other people. A peacekeeper in life, wanting to keep the peace, often finding themselves walking on eggshells to keep the peace, often finding themselves not having their own opinion to keep the peace. They can find themselves fearing any form of attention. They can find themselves fearing any sort of praise. They can find themselves avoiding doing stuff because they don't want to receive the attention. They don't want to receive the praise. They don't want to come across as too big-headed. And it's not because they are big-headed, it's because they fear the perception of others. They fear burdening others with problems. They fear asking for favours. They fear like they're asking too much because they've been asking the wrong person. They've been trained into no longer asking people for anything, often struggling to try and get by completely by themselves, isolating themselves from the world around them. Because of their lack of awareness of who they are as a person, their opinions, their values, their beliefs, because of their fear to speak up for things in case they are wrong, but not in order to hurt another person, because they want to protect other people, because they don't want to hurt other people. They can fear speaking up for their opinions, or they might not even know what their opinions, their values, their beliefs are, because they've been trained, they've been conditioned into not having any, often leading to poor boundaries because they lack a sense of self. So they don't know how to create boundaries because they don't know what they believe in. Internalising everything, anything that goes wrong within somebody else's life as well as their own, internalising it and self-blaming, constantly blaming themselves, which when around a narcissistic person that's going to blame you for all your troubles and you're someone who blames yourself, this is a recipe for disaster. Asking very little of others for fear of putting others out, not wanting to burden other people. They can be highly agreeable people, not only because they don't want to put people out, they don't want to offend people, they don't want to hurt people, but also because they lack the awareness of their own opinions, their own thoughts, their own feelings, their own belief system. They can be some of the most incredibly sensitive people you can ever meet. You can be incredibly sensitive, and there is nothing wrong with being sensitive. However, a narcissist is going to exploit this sensitivity within you. They are going to use it to hurt you and then accuse you of being too sensitive, and because you internalize everything, you're the one that's going to think there's nothing wrong with their behavior. It's due to the fact that you're too sensitive, when it's not. You're sensitive and they lack the empathy, they lack the compassion to care for who you are as a person. They lack the awareness for who you are as a person. And with that sense of agreeableness, you might find yourself helping others to the detriment of your own needs, your own desires, because you might not know what your own needs and desires are. As narcissistic people are some of the most disagreeable, opinionated people you could ever come across. Now, not all disagreeable people are narcissistic. However, narcissistic people can be extremely disagreeable people, which is going to make you fall more into their behaviour, going to make you fear more having an opinion around them, because they will belittle you, they will shame you, they will criticise you, they will judge you for simply standing up for yourself, for having an opinion of your own. Or they will play the victim of, oh, you never take my side, do you? To make you feel bad for them, make you feel bad for not having the same opinion as them. And some narcissists, especially the covert narcissists, can be disagreeable in an agreeable way. So they can agree to something that they do not agree with, and then later down the line when you ask them about this, they're going to claim that they never said that, they never promised that, you forgot to remind them. Whereas an agreeable people will often agree and then go all out to deliver on what they agreed to doing, because they don't want to let people down, because they don't want to be a burden, because they care about the needs of others, so they don't want to let the needs of others down. And when agreeable people help disagreeable people, the disagreeable person will exploit the agreeable person. When someone with traits of echoism helps out somebody with traits of narcissism, the one with the traits of narcissism is going to take full advantage of the one with the traits of echoism. The one who lacks empathy is willing to exploit others and feels entitled to do so, will take full advantage of somebody with high traits of empathy, high traits of compassion, a willingness to help others, a willingness to be supportive and kind towards others. When it comes to overcoming anything in life, it's about baby steps. It's about gradually moving yourself at a pace you feel comfortable with. So when it comes to having signs of echoism within yourself, it starts with learning your own needs, your own wants, your own desires, your own opinion. And when it comes to outside situations that aren't really any of our business, things such as celebrities in the media and everyone jumping in on their opinion, when someone has echoism, this is the kind of time when realistically you don't need to speak out. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but you need to find your own. Don't speak out about it, because everyone's got a different opinion. Some people who differ to you will shut you down. And if you have traits of echoism, you're the one that's going to feel bad. You're the one that's going to doubt yourself. You're the one that's going to blame yourself. So to begin with, learn to have your own opinion in the right way with the right people. Learn to be kind to yourself and your own needs. Learn your values. Learn your beliefs. It is a process, and you have to start somewhere by just asking yourself, who am I? What do I enjoy? What do I believe is right? What do I believe is wrong? Morals. Start with morals. What do I morally believe is right? What will I accept from myself as a person? And if I wouldn't behave in a manner that I would not accept from myself, I will not accept that from other people. So you can begin to build a picture and create who you are as a person. Start asking for help from people when you need the help, learning to ask the right people, because the right people will be there for you. And don't feel bad for asking. If life's about give and take. So if you've got that mutual give and take, there's no need to feel bad, because they're willing to help and support you as you're willing to help and support them. Don't ask those who are unwilling to help and support you, and do not help those who are unwilling to help and support you. That's their behaviour. That's for them to deal with. Find that mutual respect with people. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please do add those into the comments. I shall link into the description the video on codependency, because it's different, but it can link in some ways. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel and you find the information on the channel helpful, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. And one thing to start with is praising yourself. When you do something good, praise yourself, recognise your own achievement, give yourself the pat on the back, and go out there and do it again. Bye.